Someone on Reddit pointed out that I don't pronounce Vincent's name correctly, so I'm gonna learn. I'll probably still be wrong. Please bear with me. Hey guys, it's Karen here. Welcome back to Little Art Talks, or welcome if you're brand new. If you like art and art history, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh. Wait, let me listen to it again. Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh. If you guys watched my last video on Vincent van Gogh, then I forgot the rest of the words I wanted to say in this sentence. If you guys watched my last video on Vincent van Gogh and the tortured artist trope, then you'd know that he died in 1890, having only ever sold one painting during his lifetime, and it sold for about the equivalent of $109. But after his death, his work is being auctioned off as some of the most expensive paintings to have ever been sold. So how did this happen? So how did he go from this penniless, unknown artist to one of the most famous, beloved, and expensive artists of all time? Sure, artworks do tend to increase in value after an artist's death because now there is a finite number of works on the market and scarcity equals dollar signs. However, we're talking about someone who went from virtually unknown to one of the most recognized artists in the world. And this doesn't just happen because you died. And Vincent isn't the only one. There's a number of artists who worked throughout their lifetime, but never really found commercial or professional success until much, much later after their death. And I think it's always interesting to sort of talk about and dissect how this exactly happens. And while they do sort of vary case by case, I think Vincent van Gogh's case is a really interesting one. Now, to be fair, Vincent wasn't considered a bad artist when he was alive. Keep in mind, he started painting relatively late in life and died fairly young, and he painted for a total of around 10 years of his life, which is really, really short. If you do want to learn a little bit more about his biography, I go over it a little bit more in the other videos, so check that one out after this one. Now, 10 years is not a very long time, especially when you're considering people who started very young, who had a lot of time to develop their craft. Painting is a skill that you have to learn and develop, which will take a lot of practice. You also have to build your portfolio to have an art show, to exhibit. You have to, have enough pieces under your belt to be considered a very serious artist. Take, for example, our favorite child prodigy, Pablo Picasso. He started training with his father before he was even 9. Even he, a child prodigy considered very skilled from a young age, he didn't meet his favorite art collectors, Leo and Gertrude Stein, until 1905, when he was already 24, and he joined an art gallery when he was 26. So that's 15 and 17 years of painting, respectively, before he was entering that commercial space. So there's a bunch of different reasons why you can say that Vincent wasn't able to sell his artwork. You can argue things like he didn't really hit his stride and find his personal style until the last 2 years of his life. And it can take a while before finding, that customer base for your work. He was really ahead of his time with really out there styles that no one was really doing until he started doing it. And he needed that time for the taste to catch up with his style. There's even the fact that he wasn't a really good salesman. Like, he had no desire to sort of sell his artwork and be very networky and suave. He was really sort of this loner who didn't care about keeping up with appearances. He didn't care for personal hygiene. He didn't take care of his teeth or, clothes. People would literally say he looked like a homeless person. And he also had a pretty prickly personality. He famously would fight with a lot of people, including his own friends. His most famous fight, of course, was with his friend Paul Gauguin, where he famously ended up with an earlobe chopped off. Another common question is, why didn't Theo, Vincent's brother and an art dealer, help sell Vincent's work? Indeed, the Van Gogh family was entrenched in the art dealing world, and Vincent himself actually worked as an art dealer in the family business before being fired for arguing with patrons about what people should buy. I told you, he literally was not a good salesman. Theo van Gogh worked for a well-known art gallery in Paris, which was relatively conservative and well-regarded. While they did exhibit some works by living artists, including Claude Monet, most were under contract, and that would have been really hard to secure for Vincent since he was unknown. He didn't really sell anything before, so he doesn't have any track record or anyone vouching for him. So it was pretty hard to go that route for him. We know from their letters that Theo was extremely invested and really believed in Vincent, but he just wasn't able to get those sales for him. Theo was truly heartbroken after Vincent's death, and in the end, he died only 6 months after Vincent's death, and the cause of death was listed as dementia, paralycia, heredity, chronic disease, overwork, and sadness. That's really heartbreaking. That's so sad. Okay, now we're at the interesting part of what actually happened to make Vincent famous after he's already dead. After Theo's death, his wife, Johanna van Gogh-Bonger, was now a widow with an infant son and an apartment in Paris filled with apparently worthless art by her brother-in-law. Though advised to get rid of them, no one can sell them anyways, she instead makes the critical decision to keep everything, and she moves back to Amsterdam with her son and brings everything with her, preserving not only around 2,000 pieces of art, now worth millions of dollars, but also Vincent's collections of prints, books, and letters. So she and her son moves back to the Netherlands, where they open a boarding house so she's able to support herself, and to make some extra income on the side, she would translate French short stories to Dutch and English. What a boss. She started to work on promoting Vincent's story and work, networked with the right people like Eugene Bosch, Paul Cassiel, and Emile Bonnard, who helped her to promote Vincent van Gogh's paintings. She would organize exhibitions and donate works to get more exposures in different shows, including an exhibition in the Stedelijk Museum. She also wrote a Van Gogh family history and organized and translated the brothers' numerous correspondences to Dutch in 1914. There were so many letters that it was released in 3 volumes, and she later worked to translate them to English as well. This was so much work. This woman has a full-time job, a couple side hustles. She's a single mother taking care of her son. This was so much work, all on top of this all-consuming mission of getting her deceased brother-in-law's artwork out there, and it started to work. His story and art started to capture people's attention. His legacy and renown as the long-suffering artist began to spread, first in the Netherlands and Germany, and then throughout Europe and the rest of the world. So for every artist who died unknown and penniless, there's someone else behind the scenes who continued their legacy, who remembered them and continued to promote them or rediscovered them in the basement somewhere. She had the skills, the brains, the social skills, and quite honestly, the willpower to actually make this happen. So moral of the story, get yourself a woman who can do it all, or get her to marry your sibling. I don't know. For real, I don't know if there is a moral to this story. As I said, it took a lifelong dedication from Johanna, like lots of support from the right people in places of power, a really good story that captured people's attention, and the ingenious move of saving all of those letters and translating them so people can really have this storytelling device to understand his work and feel connected to them. As I said in the Tortured Artist video, I don't think living a life of poverty and sickness, just holding out hope that someone will discover you and make you famous after death, like that's not a good deal. You're already dead. How are you gonna appreciate that? Instead, take care of yourself. And if you're struggling to sell your artwork, don't be too hard on yourself, because it is really hard. You need a lot of help from the right people and a lot of luck for people to care and all of this stuff. So maybe the answer is take a course in business and marketing. This is too sad of an ending. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you come back and watch more. If you missed the other video about Vincent van Gogh that I keep talking about in this video, I know I'm so annoying, I'll link it down below so you can check it out as well. And of course, a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys are the absolutely best. The Theo to my Van Gogh. If you guys are feeling generous and want to support our channel, please head on over to our patreon.com/littlearttalks to see all of the amazing perks and benefits and fun behind the scenes that we're up to over there. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope your brain cells are tingling with happiness. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!